Disclaimer: the jokes in this video are for entertainment purposes only. This video is not an advertisement for smoking, gratuitous violence, anime simping, chud humpers, Skittles, or cardboard boxes. With this being said, let's get smoking. In a world of animal code names lies Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes, a remake of the beloved Metal Gear Solid 1, released in 2004 for the Nintendo Gamecube. This remake aimed to modernize the original with Metal Gear Solid 2 gameplay, including first-person shooting and enhanced graphics, yet with a few embellishments, or as the Brits like to call it, some crazy shite. Despite these changes, The Twin Snakes does try its best to capture the spirit of the original, going as far as bringing back most of the original cast and keeping the homoerotic nature of the original. While some enjoyed seeing this classic modernized, others were less impressed, taking issue with the Matrix-inspired changes in the level design, which didn't translate perfectly into the third dimension. As for myself, I've always had a soft spot in my back door for this title. While yes, it can be bad at moments, and the early 2000s techno music is admittedly trash, there is this laughable charm that the Twin Snakes possesses, able to make you laugh one scene, cringe the next, and all while offering some fun gameplay. After all these years though, I didn't just want to touch second base like some virgin-lunged weeb. I wanted to visit Shadow Moses in my own way. Enter the Lung Cancer Challenge. You see, Solid Snake is an icon. He's a terrorist-killing, box-hiding Smash legend. Not only does he wank off in lockers and fight cyborgs, but he also smokes more than a 1960s ad agency in a forest fire. So, while revisiting this classic, I wanted to see if it were possible to beat Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes while smoking the entire time. The rules of this run were simple. I had to be smoking at all times. If I wanted to move, I had to be smoking. If I wanted to shoot, I had to be smoking. If I wanted to give a naked man a prostate exam, I had to be smoking. And if I wanted to narrate this video, I had to be smoking. So after chain smoking enough Marlboro Reds to make me cough blood, my journey began in the underground cargo dock of Shadow Moses, where I infiltrated while hotboxing the scuba gear. You'd think terrorists would be better at protecting their back door, but no. I penetrated them with ease and slid right in. Let's just say I really puffed that woodpecker. You see, that's a sex and smoking innuendo. I'm that good. Once on land, it was finally time to equip my smokes, which is when the true challenge began. You see, as I inhaled the sweet tobacco into my lungs, I lose most of my health, signaling my lungs slowly building with tar. While this excessive smoking wouldn't outright kill me, it would reduce my health the entire run, including against bosses. Not to mention, it meant I couldn't keep rations equipped for auto use, making healing a chore. Did this deter me? Of course not. Despite having not played the Twin Snakes in over a decade, I proved it was like riding a bike. It's easy to crash. Making it to the elevator, it was time to untuck. Roll that title card. Kept you waiting. On the surface, Colonel and the rest of Big Tobacco taught me the controls and warned me of Liquid Snake, a non-smoking beta male in his plot to destroy freedom with a nuke. I only had 24 hours to smoke the terrorists before my lungs would literally explode in a cloud of cancerous smoke. It's here that we ran into our first problem of the run. You see, the excessive smoke obscured my vision and tripped every alarm. All of the ensuing smoke, gunfire, and flipping made it feel like a John Woo film set in a gambling den. Escaping the ensuing chaos, I made my way through the vents using my superior navigation skills and keen sense of direction. Hello? Is anyone there? Help! Help! Wait, I see a light. We're saved, boys! Once inside, these terrorists were no match for my sneaking or smoking skills. I started to consider this mission a PSA directed at the nation's youth. Remember, kids, smoking kills you and terrorism. With ease, I made my way past the guards onto the elevator and arrived at the shit, my weakness, more vents. While aimlessly traversing the smoke-filled, cramped crawlspace, I discovered a fellow soldier. She was butch as hell and had trailer park teeth, but in Alaska, you kinda take what you get. Emerging from the smoke like a down-on-his-luck magician, I found the DARPA chief. Before I could rescue him, the secondhand smoke took him from this world. This all could have been avoided if he had just smoked himself. Remember, kids, only smoking can fight smoking. Released from my cell by my Alaskan butch girlfriend, we opened fire on the terrorists. I gotta admit, dude, I look pretty damn cool, man. I was firing guns, covered in the blood of my enemies, lit cig hung from my lips. I was like James Dean, but like, not dead. You see, smoking these fools was easy, even with the limited health. That is, until some twink in leather showed up and stole my girlfriend. This started to feel like high school all over again. Making my way to the lower levels, I armed myself with C4 and dodged the trapdoors. After detonating the explosives, I found Baker chained up just hanging around. That's a pun. This injustice couldn't go unpunished, so harnessing the power of Harambe and Swisher Sweets, I blew smoke up Ocelot's ass, and not in a fun gay way either. Did I set off the explosives? Yes. Did I showcase an aim worse than Stevie Wonder? Also yes. Did I save the day? You bet that sweet ass I did. Closers close. Once freed, Baker went into great detail about the downsides of big tobacco, and I mean great, antagonizing detail. I kinda zoned out and started playing an unboxing game. Well, Baker's dead gargled something about me gaining all of his wealth, assets, keycard, and property. It was very generous, but also sad because he's like, he didn't want an autopsy. So after finding Baker dead from completely natural causes, I called up old masculine Marrow and had her unlock the laser room. You see, lasers are scary, whether they are in space or on a shark. Most people are afraid of lasers, but I ain't most people. You see, the cigarette smoke actually reveals the lasers I need to avoid. Out of the entire game, this is damn near the only time that killing myself with cigarettes is actually worth it. I kind of wanted to just stay here and marvel at it if it wasn't for the whole, terrorists trying to nuke the world thing. Once outside, I got a call from Deep Throat, a fellow throat goat who shared my love of gravelly voices. He warned me of landmines, bombshells, and potential pitfalls. I told him not to worry. I had made all of my female employees sign NDAs. I've seen one too many YouTuber apologies. However, just when I thought I was invincible, Raven showed up, commanding a literal tank, and shot me like a Me Too accusation, but he clearly underestimated me. That roided up mother liquor didn't know I could dodge tank fire like I could dodge terminal illness. Tanks and lymphoma can't kill Solid Snake. This fight played out much like the rest. The limited health wasn't an issue as I launched grenades and smoked dubs. Overall, it was a fun fight that ended with a badass slow-mo scene that was everything right and everything wrong with this game. Afterward, I made my way through the nuclear storage where I was restricted from using firearms, but I could still chain smoke because hey, why not? Then came the electric floor. In order to pass, I went in search of Mr. Nikita. I was going to voice the Nikita launcher, but every voiceover I did sounded like cultural appropriation. Yeah, let's not do that. This part of the game, and trying to avoid being racist, was actually kind of hard. I've done this since I was a kid, but for some odd reason, I just couldn't see the opening. Now that I'm thinking about it, that definitely reminds me of high school. To progress forward, I ended up just blind firing random ass missiles as if I invoked the power of North Korea. Mission accomplished. Then came the torture porn room. It wasn't a pretty sight. You see, Deep Throat got some anger issues that he likes to take out on nameless henchmen. Making my way into his lair, I saved some weak-lunged anime dweeb from becoming Deep Throat's prison bitch. It's here that the ninja challenged me to a duel to the death. Winner gains the title of Deep Throat. There can only be one. So, was Gray Fox hard? No, I was. Overall, the fight was easy, just like my difficulty level. Sure, things can get hairy when he does his ultimate punch because it hits for a lot of damage, and I don't have a lot of health to spare, but once you know the pattern, it becomes as easy as your sister in high school. And yes, I'm talking to you. You know who you are, Carl. Just know that there's some dude named Carl with a slutty sister who's watching this losing his damn mind. Look for him in the comment section. So, what's next? Well, I took time to discuss anime with Otacon before trying to locate Meryl. I was told that in order to find her, I was to look for a guard with a nice ass you'd want a motorboat. I feel terrible admitting I did not guess correctly. Those poor bastards will never be the same. I mean, they left this island with scars. Following her into the bathroom, she strips, I smoke, and then we discussed philosophy and the social economic hardships faced by seed lions. Just kidding, we banged. Hard. Making our way into the conference room, Meryl starts to act weirder than normal. I mean, she started listening like a good woman should. And I know what you're saying, Alex, you're a disgusting misogynist. I am not disgusting. In truth, I'm just making jokes about virtual women. Real women, though, I have even less respect for. Once inside, we confront the Gimp from Pulp Fiction who controls Meryl like a manipulative boyfriend. This time he's leveled up and has armed himself with mental blasts and weaponized childhood trauma. Look close, kids. This is what happens when you vape and watch too many female streamers. You turn into a simp. Remember that real men chop wood and smoke logs. Leave reading books and memory cards for the virgin-lunged betas. After taking my toxic masculine anger out on Meryl, Mantis tried his best to hide behind smoke and mirrors. Empowered by nicotine and the thrill of punching a woman, I beat the gimp before he could use my deleted tweets against me. The hardest part of the fight was actually the emulation, which forced me to switch controller ports back and forth using menus. It was frustrating, and I took this frustration out on Meryl. With the gimp dead, we marched forward into the wolves' den where I killed enough dogs for Fox News to label me as a Haitian immigrant. If my girlfriend were watching this right now, she'd be really upset that I'm euthanizing these poor pups with inhumane machine gun fire. And if she kept watching, she'd soon discover my not-so-secret homosexuality that she's somehow missed. Making it to the minefield, I showcased my ability to dodge traps while smoking. Meryl also teased me and told me where to stick my fist. Before I could give her the old Alaskan uppercut, Meryl got screen sniped and shot in her beef curtain. Luckily for me, I had become cloaked in smoke, masking my position. Meryl wasn't so lucky. She got targeted like the husky kid in a dodgeball game. Watching Meryl get cucked by the sniper sent me into a downward spiral of pain and confusion. I had become horrified by the atrocities that I had faced on my journey toward lung cancer. Anime simps, leather gimps, butch Alaskans, deep-throating ninjas. I was shell-shocked and in need of guidance. Using the codec, I called the tobacco god, hoping for the answers. Master, it's me. I require your guidance. Empowered by the wise words of my smoking sensei, I backtracked and retrieved this sniper rifle of power. Returning, I had the first fight with Sniper Wolf. This fight made me feel like a rock star, dude. I was taking pills, smoking cigs, and shooting up everything. Now all I needed was hepatitis and a VH1 behind the music. Before I could celebrate my new rocker status, I was surprised attacked by Sniper Wolf and her goons. I let them have their way with me in exchange for just a couple more puffs. Once captured, I was stripped, beaten, and tortured for their amusement. I did not think it was funny. Personally, I found the torture to be kind of rude if I'm being honest, but the company welcomed me. I could have given in, mind you, but no. I mashed buttons until my fingers were bloody stumps. I couldn't let my ginger queen die in vain, regardless of her place on the spectrum. Now I know what you're thinking, Alex, how can you smoke during the torture sequence? Thought this was a smoking-only challenge. Well, little did you know that when they electrocuted me, the shit in my pants became microwaved, producing smoke which I inhaled, which then turned back in the dookie, creating an endless cycle. It's like, math. After surviving rounds of torture, Otacon showed up with ketchup, proving himself to be a simpleton in a lab coat. Using the power of the condiment, I tricked my captors and escaped. Finally, reunited with my smokes made me a happy man. So happy, in fact, that I totally forgot about the time bomb. Like, I know I'm dumb, but even this made me disappointed in myself. Like, you know, this is when I realized my addiction had gone too far. When you can't sense a ringing plastic explosive up your ass, you have problems. This is what my sponsor described as rock bottom. Backtracking through the base like a middle-aged man reliving his high school glory days, I climbed to the observation tower, but not before tripping every alarm. There was smoke, gunfire, and I could swear somebody tried to check my oil. Instead of gunfire, I just resorted to stun grenades, which is the Metal Gear equivalent to pocket sand. Once on the roof, my nemesis Liquid showed up in a helicopter, and I'm forced to rappel down the building as he opens fire. To this day, I have no idea how the hell this sequence works. I just close my eyes, mash things, and pray. This also describes my driving ability. I am now forced to walk everywhere. On the ground, I locate the Stinger and return to have a missile measuring contest with Liquid. This fight is like my YouTube career. Lackluster, but hey, I got it done. Afterward, Liquid tries one last move of desperation, yet I was ready. Harnessing the power of camo lights, I jumped off the missile and yelled, "Liquid!" Across the world, women grew weak at the knee. Making my way down the tower, Otacon fixes the elevator, but turns out, some of the grunts threw me a surprise birthday party! They thought they could get one over on me. Too bad I don't like surprises, birthdays, or elevators. Truth was, I wasn't locked in there with them. They were locked in there with me. Hope you like secondhand smoke, mother lickers! With the Hind D destroyed and my birthday surprise ruined, I needed some fresh air. Too bad I stumbled into Sniper Wolf's trap. This is when most players would respectfully have a sniper showdown. Well, good thing I don't respect women, because I brought my Stinger launcher to the fight. I wish I could see her face as she helplessly ran from anti-air missiles that rained down on her position. The shock of her thinking our fight was going to be a respectful contest of soldiers, only for me to use a tracking missile launcher to hone in on her every movement. It's like an officer who showed up to a duel with a cannon. Turns out, the smarter snake always gets the cigar. It's not all triumph though. Just as love can bloom on the battlefield, so can loss, with a delicate and understanding sensitivity. I shot her in the face and recited the sage wisdom I had come to learn during this playthrough. Where there's smoke, there's fire. And where there's fire, there's smoke. Speaking of fire, I made my way into the furnace level, a place that got more heat than a content creator after a few resurfaced tweets. Turns out, just like your girlfriend in an argument, the internet remembers everything. Making my way down the elevators, I'm jumped by another group of soldiers who also tried to surprise me. They are also dead. Then came the last boss in town, a man who lactates testosterone, a man who identifies as a gigachad, a man I would need to kill. There's a cool reason I think the Vulcan fight is one of the best fights in the entire game. You can use all of your tools, Stinger, Sniper, Nikita, whatever you want. My choice of weaponry was insults and claymores. You look like The Rock, dude. That's the insult. As for the claymores, I kept placing them down then stepping on them. That was something I should have seen coming. In the end, I started to feel like Chris Hansen if he had somehow caught himself. Regardless, I was able to overcome my own demons and finally defeat Raven. I thought it was endearing that Raven let all of those birds eat him after his death. Too bad, he had HIV from sharing steroid needles. So be on the lookout for a flock of bloodthirsty, HIV-infected ravens with a hunger for human flesh. To me, that's scarier than the nukes in Metal Gear, dude. Ignoring this nightmare, I made my way north past an excessive amount of gun cameras. It's here that I finally came face to face with Metal Gear's undercarriage. That boy was hung, too. On the exterior of the control room, I overhear the secret of the keycard, but lose the key in the process. Apparently it was taken by a Disney-caliber rat who thwarted all of my comedic attempts to retrieve it. So, inspired by children's cartoons, it was time to outsmart my little rodent friend. I waited for him to show his little face, then detonated some C4. I touched myself as I inhaled the smoke from his charred remains. Now it was time to get the card hot and cold. Where's that obnoxious Shaq advertisement with "I need it"? Am I right? Guess I'll have to settle for these added pipes that conveniently get the card hot and cold. Gotta admit, I can do without the shitty Twin Snakes music, but this, I thought was a pretty cool Easter egg. What wasn't nice was the joke that Liquid played on me. Turns out I wasn't deactivating Metal Gear, but the opposite. Not only were my feelings hurt, because let's be honest, nobody likes being made a fool, but I was also getting double screwed. Toxic gas and insane cigarette smoke? My lungs hated me more than the YouTube algorithm. However, just like a desperate stalker, Otacon is always there. Once freed, it was finally time to face off against Liquid and Metal Gear. My entire journey, all of the packs, all of the deaths, had led me to this moment. Through a haze of cigarette smoke, I opened fire and dodged the mechanized assault. Just when all hope seemed lost, the ghost of Throat's past reappeared. Deep Throat, this time armed with a Mega Man blaster, came to give me a hand. That was 2 arm puns. He's gonna appreciate these more when he loses his. Before though, he wanted to give me one last thing for my birthday. Rushing Metal Gear, he destroys the radar before begging me to fire. But unfortunately, I'm unable to pull the trigger. Not my choice either, I'm mashing the hell out of this button. Snake keeps saying no, but I keep saying yeah. Instead of being blown up with dignity, he's stomped on in disgrace. Let this be a lesson for all you secret agents out there. When your cybernetic comrade wants you to blow him up with a rocket launcher, you listen. Real friends don't let their friends get stomped on by mechanized doomsday machines. With smoke in my lungs and loss in my heart, I turned my attention to the task at hand. It was time to destroy. After a barrage of missiles, Rex falls, and I with it. Awakening, Liquid does his evil monologue and scolds me for putting smokes before bros. For the life of me, I have no idea why this guy keeps talking about jeans. Like I've never met someone so obsessed with pants before. So obsessed that he's resorted into starting a war with shirts. Hence why I'm stripped of mine. Jeans versus shirts. A tribalistic fight that is still somehow smarter than the gaming console wars. Huffing smoke from the various fires that raged in the aftermath of Metal Gear's destruction, it was time to put Liquid in a pipe and smoke him. He fought bravely, like a warrior, but in the end, he went down, like Carl's sister. I haven't forgotten about you, Carl. After being victorious, I rescued Mero, who had entered a catatonic state from her excessive workouts, and we made our escape. While we soared through the tunnels, I battled the symptoms of withdrawal. This tunnel was a metaphor for my tobacco affliction. How? I have no idea. That isn't important. What is important is that I found Jesus. And he blessed me with a giant-ass machine gun to kill my enemies. Thank you, Jesus. Just when I thought Jesus had taken the wheel and steered me toward salvation, Liquid returned, and just like that, I was back on the wagon. Wrecking in poetic fashion, Liquid gains the upper hand, and my life flashes before me. What I saw was kind of unremarkable though, like it really put in perspective how uneventful this entire run was. As I pondered my inept nature as a YouTuber, Liquid succumbs to the secondhand smoke. Turns out, not everyone can handle the smoke. With my very manly lover at my side, I ride toward the horizon, uncertain of my future. One thing is certain though, my lungs hate me. So after dying an embarrassing amount of times, I was awarded the title of Mongoose. You know, I'd be more upset if I actually knew what a mongoose was. Like, I'm still convinced it's a fantasy creature, probably majestic, reserved for the greatest of soldiers. All in all, this run was great. Despite the twin snakes having some problems, I think it still captures some of the original magic, and for that, I'm thankful. If you liked this terrible video, you have terrible taste. Why don't you also have terrible judgment and subscribe for more content? You'll live to regret it, but I'll be thankful. So with that being said, go play the twin snakes, and have a good one. Yes, Mr. President. The dipshit smoked just like we wanted. No. In order to learn the truth, he'll have to play another game.